It has been nearly 3 decades since the tragic passing of Diana, Princess of Wales, yet her story continues to captivate the world. In recent months, new questions have arisen about the late princess's final hours and the role King Charles may have played in her unhappiness. The whispers of unresolved truths and hidden secrets persist and have been fueled further by new portrayals in documentary series, interviews, leaked notes, and dramatic reenactments such as those found in the final season of The Crown. The tension reached a fever pitch when Diana's children finally broke their silence on the matter in numerous ways, unleashing a torrent of long-suppressed questions. Did the monarchy, or even Charles himself, play a direct or indirect role in Diana's untimely demise? Why are Princess Diana's children stepping forward more boldly than ever? And how do these revelations tie into that fateful night in Paris? To understand the explosive nature of the rumors about Charles's involvement in Diana's death, one must begin with the history of their relationship. In 1981, the world watched as the then Prince Charles, heir to the British throne, announced his engagement to the young lady Diana Spencer. At the time, Diana was only 19, an age that brings with it innocence and vulnerability. Their lavish wedding at St. Paul's Cathedral was watched by a global television audience of 750 million, yet behind the glamour, cracks were forming almost immediately. From the start, the spectre of Camilla Parker Bowles, now Queen Consort Camilla, loomed in the background. Friends close to the royal family long suspected that Charles's heart truly belonged to Camilla. Diana, for her part, confessed to feeling like a third wheel in her own marriage. Biographers and close confidants have since revealed that Diana saw Camilla as a constant shadow she could never overcome. Her voice trembled with heartbreak when, in that now famous 1995 BBC Panorama interview with Martin Bashir, she pointedly said, "Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." The tension did not remain hidden for long. By the late 1980s, Charles and Diana's marital problems were an open secret. Andrew Morton's 1992 book Diana, Her True Story, which was later revealed to have been secretly authorized by Diana herself, shattered the facade of a fairy-tale union. Morton's writing laid bare Diana's deep sadness, her struggles with bulimia, and hints of suicidal thoughts born out of her isolation within the royal household. She had desired love, affection, and loyalty, but she had grown consumed by loneliness. A massive global audience learned in real time that this people's princess was in profound distress. In 1992, Prime Minister John Major announced that Charles and Diana had separated. In 1994, Charles confirmed in a tell-all documentary, Charles, the Private Man, the Public Role, that he had indeed been unfaithful, an extraordinary confession that validated nearly every rumor swirling about his relationship with Camilla. Diana fired back with her Bashir interview in November 1995. That was the same interview in which she memorably predicted her own untimely end. At one point, many recall, she had confided to friends that she thought she could be killed in a car crash. The confessional style and damning nature of her revelations forced the Queen's hand. The monarchy, wanting to quash further scandal, urged the couple to divorce in 1996. For many, the entire spectacle was both riveting and heartbreaking. The mother of 2 future princes was openly lamenting the dissolution of her marriage and the torment she endured. Their divorce was finalized in August 1996. Crucially, Diana was stripped of her Royal Highness style, though she retained her title as Princess of Wales. She continued to be recognized by the public for her charitable works and her undeniable devotion to William and Harry. Even though the rest of the monarchy saw the divorce as an end to a disastrous chapter, for Diana, it was an opportunity to rebuild her life. Although, as she told friends, she was never able to fully extricate herself from the weight of being in the royal orbit. The fatal night in Paris in the summer of 1997 marked a tragic turning point. Diana seemed poised for a new chapter, seen vacationing with Dodi Al-Fayed, the son of Egyptian billionaire Mohammed Al-Fayed. Paparazzi photographs of them on a yacht off the coast of France dominated international tabloids, fueling intense curiosity about the princess's personal life. On the evening of August 30, 1997, Diana and Dodi dined at the Ritz Paris, a hotel owned by the Al-Fayed family. By that time, news photographers had surrounded the establishment, desperate for pictures. Shortly after midnight, Diana and Dodi attempted to evade the paparazzi by slipping out of the hotel's back entrance. They entered a waiting Mercedes-Benz W140 S-Class, driven by Henry Paul, the hotel's deputy head of security, with Trevor Rees-Jones, a bodyguard employed by the Al-Fayed family, joining them in the passenger seat. Their destination was supposedly Dodi's apartment near the Champs-Élysées. What happened next unfolded with horrifying speed. The car sped toward the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, with a pack of paparazzi in pursuit. Inside the tunnel, Henri Paul apparently lost control of the vehicle, causing it to collide violently with the 13th pillar. The crash was devastating. Dodi Al-Fayed and Henri Paul were killed instantly. Diana was gravely injured but still alive when emergency responders arrived. She was rushed by ambulance to the Petit-Salpêtrière hospital, where doctors fought for several hours to save her life, but to no avail. She was officially pronounced dead at around 4 a.m. on August 31, 1997. Trevor Rees-Jones survived but suffered severe injuries and had very limited memory of the crash. At Balmoral Castle, where they were vacationing with their father, Prince William and Prince Harry were awakened to learn the shocking news. The world joined them in collective mourning. Millions of mourners descended upon Kensington Palace, Buckingham Palace, and other royal residences, leaving flowers, letters, and tributes. Princess Diana's funeral, held on September 6, 1997, was broadcast globally to an estimated 2.5 billion viewers. The image of 15-year-old Prince William and 12-year-old Prince Harry walking behind their mother's coffin, heads bowed and expressions haunted, was forever seared into global consciousness. In the wake of Diana's death, conspiracy theories rapidly emerged. One of the loudest voices challenging the official explanation was Mohammed Al-Fayed, who adamantly claimed there was foul play, often implicating the royal family. His suspicions were based on several factors. First was the nature of Charles and Diana's separation. Al-Fayed suggested that Diana was pregnant with Dodi's child, a claim that he believed infuriated senior royals, prompting them to orchestrate her murder to prevent a Muslim from being connected to the line of succession. Another point of suspicion was the high-speed chase involving the paparazzi. Some alleged that the photographers were part of a broader scheme or had used bright flashes to disorient Henri Paul. Al-Fayed was also skeptical about Paul's involvement. Official investigations concluded that Paul had an unusually high blood alcohol content and was speeding, but conspiracy theorists claimed his blood samples were tampered with or that he was working for British or French intelligence. Additionally, many questioned the absence of CCTV footage from the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. There were numerous cameras in the area, yet no relevant footage emerged, leading to speculation that tapes had been confiscated to conceal the truth. The French conducted their first investigation under Judge Hervé Stéphan, concluding in 1999 that there was no foul play. The results pointed to driver intoxication and the reckless pursuit by paparazzi as the causes of Diana's death. A separate 3-year British inquiry, known as Operation Paget, was launched in 2004 at the request of the royal coroner to examine every conspiracy theory and claim surrounding Diana's death. The investigation culminated in an 800-plus page report, published in December 2006, which likewise concluded that the crash was a tragic accident. No evidence of a conspiracy to murder Diana or Dodi Al-Fayed was found. Despite these official conclusions, speculation persisted. One of the most persistent claims involved a white Fiat Uno that allegedly collided with the Mercedes, causing it to veer. French police found paint traces on the wrecked car, supporting the possibility of contact with a white Fiat. Investigators tracked over 4,000 such vehicles but were unable to locate the exact one involved. Over time, suspicion fell on James and Anson, a paparazzo who owned a white Fiat Uno. His death by suicide in 2000 only fueled further speculation. However, Operation Paget determined that Anson had an alibi and that his Fiat was not roadworthy enough to have been involved in the crash. Among the most sensational claims was the idea that Prince Charles was somehow connected to Diana's death. This theory circulated primarily in internet forums, personal diaries, and tabloid speculation. No official legal body has ever substantiated such a claim, but its survival underscores the deeply entrenched mistrust of the royal family in some circles. Fueling these suspicions was a note Diana allegedly wrote in 1995, which was later released by her former butler, Paul Burrell. In it, she claimed that Charles was planning an accident involving brake failure and that she feared for her life. While official investigators acknowledged the note's existence, they found no evidence that any plot had ever materialized. Nonetheless, such ominous revelations fed the public's fascination and skepticism. From the very beginning, William and Harry were aware of the swirling rumors. Initially, they appeared to trust the official findings, particularly given the extensive nature of the investigations. However, time has a way of reshaping perspectives. By the late 2010s and early 2020s, both princes began speaking more openly about their mother's final days, the emotional trauma they endured, and their lingering suspicions that the entire truth had not been revealed. Prince Harry, in particular, became more vocal after stepping back from frontline royal duties and relocating to North America. He has since shared bits and pieces of a more personal condemnation of his father, King Charles, particularly regarding how Diana was treated and whether the monarchy's traditional ways contributed to the tragedy. Harry's recent revelations stand in stark contrast to his earlier words about his father. In an older interview, he expressed that he was one of two left and had tried his best. However, in recent years, his commentary has become more pointed, even accusatory. Over time, Harry has undergone a profound transformation, stepping back from royal duties, relocating to California with his wife, Meghan Markle, and publishing a memoir that directly challenged various aspects of the royal establishment. These revelations have highlighted his long-standing concerns about his mother Diana's treatment and King Charles's perceived complicity in her misery. In numerous interviews, Harry has stated that the official reason for leaving the royal family was to protect his own family from relentless media harassment and the perceived indifference of the institution. Echoing Diana's own sentiments, he has painted a picture of a system that demands unwavering compliance from its members, often at the cost of personal happiness. He has also drawn direct parallels between the media intrusion faced by Diana and the press coverage endured by Meghan. According to him, no one within the royal family took sufficient action to support Meghan or counteract the negative press. To Harry, it was a replay of his mother's darkest times, and he was determined not to let history repeat itself. In both a docu-series and media interviews, Harry reflected on how, as a child, he was shielded from the absolute horror of the 1997 crash. He was simply told that it was an accident. However, as he grew older, curiosity and anger took hold, particularly as he encountered alternative explanations circulating in the press. He has mentioned revisiting the Paris tunnel as a young man, trying to comprehend how such a devastating accident could occur on such a short stretch of road. The idea that the crash was solely due to the driver's inebriation never fully satisfied him. Over time, he began to question whether Diana's frantic final months, her letters, interviews, and sense of foreboding, were signs that she had been cornered by a system she had angered. From his perspective, if the monarchy had better protected her, or if Charles had not subjected her to humiliation and neglect, she might still be alive. One of Harry's boldest moments of indirect condemnation came in an interview where he lamented that no one within the royal family had ever been held accountable for ignoring or belittling Diana's struggles. While he did not explicitly support public speculation that Charles was responsible for Diana's death, his words carried an insinuation that aligned with those suspicions. He implied that a monarchy preoccupied with its own survival had left Diana vulnerable to malevolent forces and the relentless paparazzi. Harry also revisited the role of the paparazzi in the tragedy. For years, tabloids shifted blame onto the photographers, claiming their relentless pursuit of Diana caused the fatal crash. However, Harry argued that the paparazzi were merely one part of a broader system in which even royals or palace aides might leak stories for personal or institutional gain. From his perspective, the monarchy was so focused on controlling the narrative and managing negative headlines that it often sacrificed certain family members to protect others. Diana, known for her charisma and media appeal, drew overwhelming attention, some of which, Harry alleges, the palace did little to contain because it diverted scrutiny away from Charles and other royals. While he stopped short of directly accusing Charles of orchestrating or intending Diana's death, he suggested that the monarchy's neglect contributed to the tragedy. In his eyes, a father's failure to protect or empathize with his wife, especially under intense media pressure, was a grave betrayal. Prince William, as the heir to the throne, has generally been more restrained in his approach to the media compared to his younger brother. He has embraced the protocol that Harry rejects, yet there have been indications that he harbors his own doubts. While William has not voiced as many direct criticisms of King Charles, certain statements and behaviors hint at underlying tension. For instance, he once described the paparazzi's role in Diana's final moments as harassment that should never have happened. In a separate interview, he acknowledged that the media intrusion into Diana's life was relentless and criticized palace officials for failing to take a stronger protective stance. His remarks suggest that the monarchy's reluctance or failure to manage the press may have contributed to the circumstances leading to Diana's death. William has also shown occasional skepticism about the official investigations into Diana's accident. Over the years, particularly when Harry proposed revisiting certain evidence, William expressed a desire for truth and accountability. The controversy surrounding the Martin Bashir interview, in which the BBC admitted to using deceitful tactics to secure Diana's participation, provided him an opportunity to publicly condemn the press for fueling her paranoia. While he did not directly blame Charles, his comments about the toxic environment surrounding Diana implied that the problem extended beyond the media alone. He once expressed regret that no one had stepped forward decisively enough to provide Diana with the protection she needed. When asked whether the royal family should issue a public apology for its treatment of Diana, William has carefully avoided giving a direct answer. Observers of the royal family have noted subtle signs of friction, particularly leading up to King Charles III's coronation. A lingering question surrounded how William and Harry felt about Camilla being crowned queen consort. Their mother, long overshadowed by Camilla's presence, never saw a resolution to the heartbreak she endured. While both brothers have publicly maintained unity, speculation persists that deep-seated anger remains. Some have even interpreted William's stoicism as a silent refusal to embrace the woman who played a role in his parents' marital breakdown. Privately, William has been known to speak of Diana with longing and, at times, bitterness. Those in his inner circle claim that any perceived injustice toward his mother remains a deeply sensitive topic, even if he rarely shows it outwardly. Many believe that the weight of his future role as king prevents him from openly criticizing Charles. Together, William and Harry's introspections about the events of 1997 mark a significant departure from the monarchy's traditional stance, one that would have historically kept such matters hidden behind palace walls. Revisiting Diana's death through documentaries and popular culture has played an enormous role in reshaping global perspectives on her life and legacy. Beyond official documentaries, the final season of Netflix's The Crown has added a fictional yet thoroughly researched dimension to the tragedy, shining a spotlight on how Prince Charles's actions and the royal family's protocols might have set the stage for Diana's demise. While producers emphasize that The Crown is not a documentary, the show's creator, Peter Morgan, draws from known events, licensed archival footage, and in-depth studies of major biographies. In the last episodes of Season 6, the show depicts a controversial moment that mirrors reality in more than one way. It presents a scene in which Prince William confronts Charles about his silence regarding Diana, implicitly suggesting that this emotional distance had pushed her toward Paris and Dodi Fade. Progressively, a sense of guilt seeps through the father-son dialogue, where Charles is shown regretting the impact of his extramarital relationship on Diana, though also bristling at the insinuation that he caused her death. Outside of The Crown, numerous documentaries, from the BBC to independent productions, have re-examined the events of August 31, 1997. They highlight testimonies from paramedics, eyewitnesses, and surviving officials who recall the late-night crash. Some experts from Operation Paget reaffirm that there was no conspiratorial murder. Yet, each new documentary is also compelled to address the elephant in the room, the possibility that Diana felt unsafe due to intangible, unseen pressures, whether from her ex-husband or from the firm that was never truly her ally. It is this intangible sense of betrayal that resonates so powerfully with modern audiences. The portrayals of Diana are unflinching in their depiction of her despair, her mental health struggles, and the breakdown she experienced in an unhappy marriage under constant public scrutiny. This combined media approach, historical retellings fused with dramatic reconstructions, serves to intensify public sympathy for Diana and fuel suspicion that King Charles, whether knowingly or indirectly, was a factor that set the unstoppable chain of events in motion. For the princes, these ongoing portrayals can be both healing, in revealing hidden truths, and painful, in resurrecting unresolved grief. The question is whether these dramatizations will further stoke tensions in an already strained monarchy, especially as William and Harry become more openly critical of how their mother was treated. For many royal observers, the real concern is whether William and Harry's insinuations about Charles are serious enough to undermine his reign. Public polls following significant revelations from Harry often show mixed reactions. Some remain loyal to the monarchy, while others grow more sympathetic toward the prince's viewpoint. Over time, the monarchy has proven surprisingly resilient to scandal. Still, the open condemnation from Diana's children, especially in the era of social media, keeps Diana's tragedy fresh in the public mind. Meanwhile, the memory of Charles's indirect, or otherwise direct, involvement in Diana's death lingers like a ghostly refrain. Though legally unfounded, it thrives as a symbolic indictment of how Charles allegedly broke Diana's spirit, pushing her into the path of danger. Whether William and Harry truly believe in that extreme statement or not, they have undeniably chosen to highlight their father's failings in ways that rekindle public scrutiny. Any reconciliation between father and sons, if it occurs, must navigate the complex emotional terrain that Diana's death carved. The story of Princess Diana's final days is not merely a footnote in royal history, it stands as evidence of how personal tragedy, systemic constraints, and public obsession can converge with catastrophic consequences. At its core, this saga is about more than blame, it is about how the silent grief of two young princes matured into a burning desire for the truth. It is about how the monarchy, with its traditions and protocols, can both protect and hinder those who marry into the royal family. And above all, it is about a mother's legacy. Diana championed humanitarian causes, from HIV/AIDS awareness to the eradication of landmines, but her personal struggles behind palace walls remain part of her lasting imprint. Amid all the swirling developments surrounding Diana's children, their pointed disapproval of King Charles's role, and the enduring questions that refuse to settle, we are left to wonder just how many secrets remain hidden behind royal walls. What do you think about the shocking accusations and the deep mysteries they unveil? Do you believe there is more to the story than meets the eye? Share your take in the comments, and remember to subscribe for more incredible unfolding stories about the monarchy. We'll catch you in the next one.